Hey, good morning, everybody. It's a rainy Monday here in the DC area. I don't know how the weather is in Florida, where Agnes is, but welcome to another edition of Chatting with Agnes and Cecilia. I'm Cecilia Sepp. I am the principal and founder of Rogue Tulips LLC, and I'm here with my co-host, Agnes Amos Coleman.
Good morning, our global audience, evening or afternoon, depending on where you are in the side of the world. And thank you, Cecilia, for the introduction. My name is Agnes Amos Coleman. I'm a consultant with Rogue Tulip and an author. Over to you, Cecilia.
Great. Thank you, Agnes. And so today is December 9th already. Hard to believe 2019 is rapidly coming to an end. So today, Agnes and I thought we would share some ideas and tips on prepping for 2020. And when we say prepping, I was thinking after we determined the title, it sounds kind of like, prepping like for Armageddon or something like some people do. But no, we don't feel that way. We think prepping is a good thing, a positive thing. We don't think the world's ending. We actually both, I think, feel, correct me if I'm wrong, Agnes, but I think we both feel 2020 might actually be a better year than 2019 has been.
Agreed.
So one of the things Agnes and I were talking about before we started recording today was some ideas from the broader picture, so I'm going to ask Agnes to kind of outline that, because she had some great ideas about reflecting on the current year and situation and then looking ahead to the next year. So Agnes, I'm going to throw it over to you so you can expand on that.
Thank you, Cecilia. Like anything in life, whether personal or business, I personally believe that reflection is a very powerful tool that we can apply as 501c professionals in really looking at where we are, the current state, and what the future state would look like. And I truly believe that reflection does provide that. It bridges that gap, for where you are, where you want to be, and really looking at almost like a housekeeping of, where are some of the areas that I need to improve or do better, or maybe even, just not do anything, So reflection is definitely a very powerful tool that can move us along as we're looking at preparing for 2020, Cecilia.
And I think that is a great point, because I'm also a big supporter of introspection, which I think goes hand in hand with reflection, because you got to kind of look inside and say, what could I do differently? What do I like that I'm doing? What do I want to stop doing? What do I want to do better? And I think we all kind of do that a little bit every day. And one of the other things, Agnes, that you had mentioned is kind of looking at gaps. So could you expand on that, like gaps between current state and future anticipated state?
Absolutely, Cecilia. Thank you. You and I know that in the 501c world, we deal with products and services. And a lot of those products and services fall into this category: membership services, conference services, training services, advocacy, governance, sponsorship, and the list goes on and on. But that's within that framework. And that gap that we're looking at is, I think, strategically one of the things that as 501c community that we need to do as we prep for 2020 is to look at these areas of products and services and begin to look at, what have we done in 2019? What are our best quality, our best performance, and our best results? And then for 2020, how do we do better in those areas? Because you know what they say, if you can't measure, you can't manage. So I think this opportunity of reflection provides us the opportunity to not only measure, but to manage well in 2020 as we approach this year.
Well, and I think also when you're looking at measurements, I actually saw a headline for an article I didn't have a chance to read, but it was called The Tyranny of Metrics. And that's probably, I don't mean to go off topic. I don't think it's necessarily off topic, but I thought that was an interesting topic of tyranny of metrics, because it sometimes takes you off course of what you should be focusing on, like mission, member service. And I think kind of bringing it back to what you were saying is we want to make sure that we're not overextending. And I think a lot of associations tend to overextend because you try to be all things to all people, because you're trying to give your members what they want, what they say they want. You're trying to help the public in some cases. You're trying to help the whole profession or your whole industry, depending on if you're a professional society or a trade association. So, maybe you're overextending. Maybe you need to focus on just 3 to 5 things and do those really well, as opposed to trying to do 15 or 20 things and not quite doing it. I know I ran into that myself the last year and a half, kind of overextending what one individual can do. Because I'll use myself as a personal example, because Agnes has heard me try to talk it out with her before. I tried starting a mentoring program, a membership organization, and a consulting company all at the same time. And while, ambition's great, it's like, you do got to pace yourself. So, and other people said to me, that was awfully ambitious of you. So that's my personal example of, having to stop and reflect and make some changes in the future. So one of the other things, Agnes, that you mentioned is quality, performance, and results, and how that can help with reflection on your organization and moving ahead to 2020. So could you expand on that a little bit too? Because I thought you had some good points.
Cecilia, first of all, let me just refer back to what you said about overextension. I think that was well said. And thank you for noting that, because as 501c community, this is an issue. And that really falls into those areas of quality, performance, and results.
Mm-hmm.
You really need to lay down where you are. Metrics is very important. Again, if you can't manage, you can't measure. You need to measure and manage results within those products and services that you deliver. And where there is an extension of your organization, the areas that, it's almost like it's an area of not so much a need, but just a want, that we want to play in that area. We just want to dabble in that area. This opportunity of reflection gives you that frame mind to say, we cannot go there yet. We're not prepared as far as staffing to go there. We're not prepared as infrastructure to go there. Yes, it'll be nice. Certain things are very nice, but not all things are musts. And that's where you use those quality, performance, and results to use it as a metrics, as a measurement to get there. Because you are right, we tend to overextend ourselves as an individual or as a 501c community. And an excellent framework is the framework of quality, performance, and results.
Yeah, I like that. So how would you define quality in this scenario?
Quality, Cecilia, I believe, are things that add value to our membership, because remember, all said and done, we're a membership organization. We're here to serve our members. We're here to add value to them so that they can be the best in their organization. Defining quality means that you're looking at your membership surveys and really looking at whether you are meeting the needs of the membership. If you're not meeting the needs of the membership, then you're moving away from quality. You could be providing quality internally, but if it's not extended to the reason why you exist, which is to make sure that your membership are in tune with their businesses, then I think you've lost sight of what quality looks like and feels like.
Yeah. That's a good point. I like that. I like that viewpoint, but I also think, you could be doing what your members say they want and doing it poorly. So, there's that too. So yeah, that's an interesting thing about quality. It's like, is it, quality versus quantity? Like, do you want a few people paying you a lot of money, or do you want a lot of people giving you a little bit of money, because that deepens the experience? So there's, little things like that. So that's really good. So let's kind of move we are at about 8 minutes left in our episode today. So Agnes and I also want to talk a little bit about some personal individual things you can do to get ready for 2020. So it can just be as easy as switching notebooks. Like, I have all kinds of notebooks. Like, this is just my general notes, things I want to remember. This is like my fitness notebook. And then I tried this notebook, and it's not a bad notebook. I'll be upfront, I'm not going to keep using it. It's called Define My Day. Mm-hmm. And it helps you do, like, priorities and a weekly overview and week and monthly goals, and how was your day? You assess your day every day and things like that. So I use that tool for 28 days. I guess it's kind of like rehab, scheduling rehab, because that's how long rehab lasts, is 28 days. So So I did that for 28 days and kind of helped me refocus and not feel like so scattered. Also getting a date book, planner book that works for you is a good idea. So one of the things I tried a Circa planner from Levenger.com, which didn't work for me. I'm sure it works for other people because they're kind of like a high-end corporate kind of thing. But it didn't work for me because I didn't feel I had enough space for planning or writing or making notes. So I got a different one, and it's working great for me because it's more like what I used to get. I used to get this great planning notebook that they quit publishing. So I've spent a long time trying to figure that out. Another one somebody tipped me on was Smart Planner Pro, which you can get on Amazon.com, which lets you do like the month and the year and the week and do everything in one place, like a big spreadsheet. So, and also it can be something as simple as using the right pen. This is my favorite kind of pen. It's a big round stick. And I like it because I have big fingers. So those are some, so you want to make sure you have some stuff that works for you that you like, that is attractive and comfortable. So those are my individual tips. Agnes, I'm going to throw it over to you.
Love all your ideas, Cecilia. I think I definitely can learn from those as well. One of the areas, and you know this, I'm not technology savvy, I'm still learning, but one of the tools that I've actually discovered on the technology side of things that allows me to focus, and that's very doable even within the 501c, and something that I just picked up, believe it or not, is using my cell phone to actually order my goals and priorities,
Wow.
So I refocus my goals and priorities. So for instance, with chatting with Agnes and Cecilia, it's all, you've already sent the calendar out, and in each of those calendar dates, I keyed into my cell phone, put some thoughts in mind in there that this is how I want to refocus my mind, so that when you and I get to have a conversation before recording, I could use that as a tool to have the discussion. So that could be applied even as individuals or in 501c world when you are looking at this moment of reflection. If you don't want to write down in pen and paper or in your notebooks, you could use your technology, your iPad or your cell phone to make that happen. In addition to using your notebooks, I also have a calendar, a hard calendar where I put by my bedside and ideas and thoughts come into play that I just get up in the middle of the night and just make a little notes.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah, just so that, because the mind is not what it used to be anymore. We're getting old.
Well, I'm going to argue with you on that one. Okay.
So for me, it's a way of just really, a reminder so I do not forget what I needed to, the thoughts and ideas that come to mind as far as what are my goals or what are some of the thought process that I have for either personal goals or business goals, just to write them down so I don't forget.
No, and I think that's a good thing. I don't necessarily think that's a getting older thing. It's so many ideas, and I want to remember that, and I want to do that. And I think that happens at any age. I know for my whole life, I've had that issue. Like, oh yeah, I have this, and if I don't get it written down, it's gone. Yes. I actually saw, here's another tip for individuals out there, and Agnes, you might like this too. I actually saw a product. It was a shower stall memo board. So it's waterproof, and so I get some of my best ideas in the shower. So like if I don't jump out of the shower and run to a notebook, it's gone, right?
Yes.
But it's like you can write notes in the shower to yourself, because when you're in there, doing your hair and stuff. I think when you're rubbing your head, it makes your mind work better.
Of course.
Because it's that's why you get these ideas in the shower. So and then you can just write it on the second. I'm like, maybe I'll get one of those because I'm always thinking of stuff in the shower.
I like that idea.
It's a funny thing. I'm going to get up and grab a prop here for a second because this was one of my shower ideas years ago. I don't know if you can see this very well. It says APAC.
Oh, yes, yes.
It says APAC of mints.
Yes.
So APAC is the ASAE Political Action Committee that I used to be on this committee a few years ago. And I was in the shower when I thought of this.
That's awesome.
And I ran out and wrote it down. So there's APAC of mints. Now, it was originally APAC of gum. But convention centers don't let you give out gum because they don't want people sticking it on the furniture. So there's another conference tip for you folks. But yeah, so you can get stuff in the shower. Think of stuff in the shower. You can you know, run out to a notebook and write it down, or get that shower-proof board and do that for yourself. But another thing, and Agnes, I don't know how like you're planning your year out. So like I don't plan out much more than 18 months because the world moves obviously at a very quick pace today, but I think the world's always kind of moved a little quick. You know, stuff always happens you can't plan for. So anyway, I kind of think in 18 months at the most. And so I think in 3-month blocks. So like, what am I going to do January, February, March, or April, May, June, et cetera? You know, so I kind of think quarterly, and then I take those blocks and put them together for 6 or 12 months or 18 months. And that works very well for me. So Agnes, how, you know, how do you kind of think ahead like that? Do you like think in blocks, or do you think in a different way?
I actually think in 3 months block, to be honest. You know, I'm a firm believer of having a strategic goal, whether individual or as an organization, those, you know, 24-month strategic goals, and then work in blocks of 3 months. Because like you rightly say, Cecilia, life evolves at a pace and it's very fast, and things that happen now are not necessarily going to happen in 3 months. We live in a volatile world, whether in the business environment or in the political environment. So definitely, I would say as an organization, as an individual, look at 24 months out, but definitely begin to narrow it down into 3 months, and then even more into a month, and then a week by week. I think that's just the way that I definitely operate. I don't think way far in advance, because you just never know. Things change.
Right. You don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So, and unfortunately, we do know what happens every week, as we do have to close out our episode. So I will share one more idea, and I want Agnes to share one more idea, and then we'll wrap up for this week. But I developed a system, or a method, I guess I should say. It's not a system, it's more of a method that I developed that works really well, and it's called the 3 things. And so every day at the end of the day, I write down what are the 3 things that have to get done tomorrow. Most important things. Like, and sometimes only one of those things gets done, but it really focuses you on your priorities. And I've used this successfully as a department director and a CEO and as a consultant. So that's just a habit I developed that worked really well for me. And then if you get all 3 of those things done and get more done, that's all gravy. So that's the way I like to look at stuff. So Agnes, what's your closing thought for today?
Thanks, Cecilia. You know, one of the things that I do that really helps me is it's tied into that reflection. Every day I kind of list down what are the areas today that I've made a difference in my own personal life, in the lives of others. I make a list. And what are the areas that I have not done so well? And I use that as an opportunity to either have a do-over. You don't really necessarily have a do-over in life, but you know, I could always go back and see whether I can take a corrective action. And if I'm not able to take a corrective action, it becomes an opportunity for me to prepare for the coming days, you know, bearing in mind that that's an area where I've had a shortcoming. So that's pretty much one of the tools that I use, a daily reflection, journaling my thoughts down on what I have done, where I've impacted others, how I've impacted, you know, my own life, and what I could do better for others as well.
I love that. Thank you. As usual, you always have the best suggestions. That's great. Especially corrective action. I like that. You know, it's corrective. It's not a punishment. But
not at all. Not at all.
I think we need to wrap up though, because I think we are well over our usual 15 minutes. So on behalf of myself and Agnes, we want to thank you for joining us this week, and we'll be back next time with thoughts on recognizing past leaders and associations. And as always, we are brought to you by Rogue Tulips, LLC, 501c Consulting and Association Management Services. And we are also supporters of the 501c League, a virtual membership organization for everyone in the 501c community, no matter where you are in your career arc, and the people who love you. So you can find out more about Rogue Tulips at roguetulips.com. You can find out more about the League at the 501cleague.net. And as Agnes and I like to say every week, take 15 minutes and talk to somebody, because you might learn something. So thanks, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.